So according to this report, the sun's poles are about to reverse, which could have crazy ramifications for all of us on this earth. Let's watch the video and talk about it.
Our next story is about the sun. It is flipping out, quite literally. Scientists say the sun's poles are about to flip. So how will this shuffle impact the earth?
Because this year, the ball of fire is quite the hot topic. Fact that the sun itself is getting ready to flip. Its poles are about to reverse. Here's how. Every 11 years, the polar magnetic fields weaken. They go to zero and then emerge again with much more energy. So the North Pole becomes the South and vice versa. The sun's poles last reversed in 2013. Even those bad at math will know that the next due date will be sometime this year. Now this may sound scary, but the flip is not a big deal. What comes before the flip is leading up to the pole reversal, the sun has intense magnetic activity. Right now, the sun is more active than it's been in over a decade. During these periods, the sun displays extravagant fireworks. There are solar flares or mass ejections. Scientists call them solar storms. Think of them as explosions. They hurl charged matter out of the sun. These particles can reach Earth in typically 3 days. And the results depend on what happens next. Sometimes the storm is so strong, it rips through the Earth's magnetic field. In some scenarios, solar storms can be the perfect storm for disasters. They can disrupt communication satellites and GPS in space and disable electrical grids on the ground. The possibility of such a hit is rare, but it can happen like it did in 1859, when the Earth witnessed the Carrington event. It was the worst solar storm in history. It disrupted telegraph lines, hindered messages, sparked fires, and auroras were witnessed in Mexico City. It was a shock event. And if a similar incident occurs now, it could cost economies trillions.
I hope you caught that, because this is something I've been thinking about for years. The event that happened in the 1800s affected the technology of that day, which was telegraph machines. Not too much to worry about. And it's crazy they saw auroras in Mexico. But here's the wild part. If the sun's poles flip like they're saying, which isn't much of a concern, a massive solar flare comes against the Earth and affects the technology of our day. Can you imagine what would happen? Literally, if you couldn't use your phone, computer, all the internet's down, satellites are down, GPS is down, no communication really except for vocal communication. Imagine what would happen to human society. We would all be off the grid for the most part. Can't drive, can't call, can't go on Google. If it happened in the 1800s, who's to say it can't happen today? And if it can happen today, what should we do? 3 things. 1, be aware that this can happen. Don't think that your life is fully safe from a solar flare that can disrupt all of technology. If it happened in the past, it can happen again. Number 2, be prepared for something like that. Do you have some food reserves? Do you have a way to get clean water? Do you have a plan of action with your family or your friends or your community? If the grid were to go down and technology were to be completely disrupted, how will you survive? And number 3, which is the most important part to this whole thing, have faith in God. And you may think that's completely silly and irrelevant, but it's not. God knows if anything is about to happen. And the Word of God says He reveals what's about to happen before it does. Many people think God doesn't speak, which is a complete lie. He's personal, He's spoken in the past, and He's speaking today. You can seek the Lord about all of this and pray about it with Him and say, Lord, is there anything I need to do to prepare? Is there anything I need to do to take care of my family? Lord, could you tell me if something like this is about to happen? Because God is not wanting us to get caught off guard unless we're living in sin and we need a wake-up call. And I believe something like this is going to happen at some point. Something huge that affects the entire earth. In many ways, it's going to be the grace of God to help wake people up from their sin. Already now, people are turning to the Lord since COVID because they're seeing the reality of evil in the world. And what I want you guys to understand is this: God cares about you even if you're a perverted sinner, even if you're wicked and you're horrible. You may think you're too far from God, but God paid a price for you to be saved, to wash you clean. He paid that price with the precious blood of His only begotten Son, Jesus Christ. And so I want to encourage you right now, yes, be prepared. Yes, consider the reality that this can happen. But more important than that, get right with your Creator. Get right with the God who made you in your mother's womb. He loves you. I was in sin, but he saved me. And if he could save a wicked sinner like me from all the darkness and junk I've done in my past, he can save you. And if you're already saved, go closer to him. Learn to hear his voice and allow him to prepare you, because he knows the day of trouble. He knows the coming calamities. He knows all of it. It's not a surprise. And he also knows the day when this whole world will be transformed for good. May the Lord bless you. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this video I made. I have another one right here you can click on. I pray it's a blessing to you and that it encourages you in your relationship with Jesus Christ. He loves you. I don't even know you. I love you. Get ready because Jesus is coming back. Click this video to learn more. The Lord bless you.